We're gonna go plan B here.
Oh, there she is.
Can you see the comments?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're starting. I'm punctual.
About 11 people.
No, 9, 10.
So thank you guys all for coming for my very first cooking on Sous Vide. We're gonna just kind of treat you like you're in my kitchen, and I'm gonna talk. And I'm glad you guys are excited about doing Sous Vide. So I'm just gonna kind of give you what I've learned through the years, and try to kind of hit my sister's on, yay! Chad's behind here if he wants to sneak in front real quick, but he's gonna do some call outs. There's Chad and Michael, there's Chad. There's Michael. They're helping me behind the scenes. Chad's going to respond or holler out some questions. I didn't want to keep squinting or putting on my glasses to look at you guys, so feel free to ask questions if you have any. So let's get going. All right. Again, I appreciate all you guys being here. I'm just really excited to have you all in my kitchen. So, we're going to be talking about sous vide, which is probably my absolute favorite thing to do. I kind of broke this down into 5 categories. I broke it down into what actually a sous vide is, in case all of you guys who don't have one yet. I'll give you my suggestions, some versatility, temperatures and timing, which is usually what people most ask me, some recipe ideas, and then we're going to finish. I'll show you a couple plates. So, I've had this sous vide for probably 7 years, and I love it. If you're looking for a sous vide, there are plenty on Amazon, and they range anywhere from like $60 to go up to $200. I know there's some really high-end ones on there that are controlled by your phone. I personally don't suggest them. A few of my friends that did do them found that everything had to be controlled off the phone, as opposed to just kind of turning it on and off right on your control right away. So it's really all you're doing is setting your temperature. To me, less buttons, and the last thing I want to do is be like looking for my phone. The other thing too I found, there's some really short ones out there. So when I'm using a pot, this is just the pot that I tend to use because I leave this out of my oven all the time. You are actually going to be clamping this. So what you are concerned on, I don't know if you guys can see this, there's 2 water lines here. So one is, this is your minimum, this is going to be your max. So the reason why I like a longer tube on mine is because I'm usually cooking a lot of food in my sous vide. But you need to make sure it's going deep enough into your pan. So look for the length. Like I said, there's some shorter ones, I just prefer the longer. The clamp, there's some that have like this screw thing, or some that don't even clamp at all, that have to go into a professional container. So this clamp, it fits any pots you guys have at home already, even like your smaller saucepans, you can even do this in. As long as that bottom water line there actually is sitting in the water. So that's about the only thing you guys really need to know and remember for that. So again, a clamp, long nozzle, I'll tell you, $70, you can get a good one. I don't really know any major brands that I love. Like I said, this one I've had for like 7 years. And I don't even know if he makes it anymore. But that's that for that. I know they have the containers. You can do all these special pots. Honestly, guys, I mean, I just use a stock pot. I think we all have them. I'm actually going to post, I saw something interesting on Test Kitchen. They found one of their favorite stock pots was like $23. So in case you don't have a stock pot, I will post that because it's a great stock pot. I keep this out on my oven all the time because I make pasta and everything. So I sous vide all the time too. So this is just my natural one out. So we're gonna go into the bags. And I've had a lot of questions about this. Yes, there are the professional sous vide bags. I have never used them. I think maybe once, I won't say never. I actually just use my Ziploc freezer bags. Make sure they're freezer because they're a little bit thicker in texture. I do have a food vac. Most people, you can get the air out with a food vac. But honestly, I'll show you later on. I just use this and I kind of roll out my food and it gets enough air out. You'll get plenty of good marinade on it. And the nice thing with this is at the end when we pull this out of the sous vide, you're just gonna throw this away. There's no, all clean up, you're good. So this is what I use.
And it's 100% safe, right, Lori?
It is 100% safe. I know, you're right. I was asked that question. You're not, and I think this is what people don't always understand with sous vide, you're not boiling or heating your water, you're circulating water to a temperature. So I'm not gonna get super scientific, but this can sit here and I can sous vide as long as I have an electric outlet for my sous vide. I just tend to do it back here on my oven, just out of convenience, but actually you can do it wherever you want. This stock pot is 10 quarts, and I just wanted to throw that out there. I have had an 8-quart stock pot, which is really good. What you need to do is make sure that, do the gallon size bags, that when your food's in here, that there's plenty of room to put this into a pot. And again, I'm just gonna throw this out. I've looked, I've seen all the real pretty sous vides and all that kind of, the pots that you can put these in with the handles. I just don't think they're necessary, and I just don't need more stuff in here. Then the other thing you need, and believe me, I use even like these, if you can see them, you just need a clip. Any clip, I don't care what you have, and you're just gonna clip your bag right into your pot once you get your food in. So that's all you need to do. So any clips, I use these, whatever you have. So, versatility. I think for me too, I don't want to stress about people coming over. I don't want to stress whether somebody's late for dinner. I don't want to stress if my day changes a little bit. So your time span when you're working with this can vary quite a bit. You cannot overcook the food. And it's a kind of a hard concept to first get a handle on, because you think, the longer it's in here, it's going to keep cooking, and it doesn't. Once it reaches that temperature, what your food is, it stays there. So I will touch a little bit more on the timing and temperature of the food, but the versatility is great. Food prep. Oh my gosh, when COVID started, Derek was in LA, and I had to bring him home for I cooked for him for 2 weeks because the stores weren't open. So what I was able to do was I did 4 different Ziploc bags of chicken, different cuisines in each one of them, so he wasn't eating the same food all the time, and it all got to be able to be in one pot. So if you like to food prep, it's actually a time saver. We just need to make sure our food needs to be at the same temperature. Fish. I'm not a huge fish fan, but I know that a lot of you guys are. There's no smell. So once you're in your Ziploc bag and you're cooking your fish, your kitchen will not smell of fish. And that to me is a good thing. I did do some salmon, which you'll see in a little bit. For me, for a non-fish eater, I know I was safe doing my salmon today because I knew what temperature it had to cook to without overcooking it. I didn't stress about it. Made sure it stayed in there for, I was about an hour into it. But then I know if I had to cook something, like somebody wanted salmon, which a lot of people in the house like salmon, I'm not worried about that. It's something I personally don't know how to cook myself. So to me, it's just a really good, easy way of cooking something that it's not something I enjoy. Cooking for 2 or 20 people. It will not change. Won't change your temperature, won't change your timing, nothing. My mom's birthday, I think we had 12 or 14 people. And I had one of those, I don't know if you remember those big roasters, but I ended up we did 14 fillets and 14 lobsters, all in one pan, same old sous vide that I still have to this day. And lobster and fillets cook at the same temperature, so I was able to have them in the same pot together. What was perfect, which when I pulled out my fillets, gave them the bags, the Ziploc bags to my brothers, they went outside and grilled it. We took I think my sister and I took the lobsters, opened them up, and we broiled them. So I will be talking about how we're gonna finish the sous vides in just the next little section, but what I wanna say, you know, it's whether you're cooking for one, you can sit here and put one Ziploc bag of something for one night, you know, maybe you want barbecue something the next day. So this is just as easy whether you're cooking for one person or 20 people. And that's another great thing what I like about it. Sometimes people have different preferences. Oh, I saw a little heart just go up. I don't like spicy food. John loves spicy food. So if I'm doing chicken, and let's just say for whatever reason I'm cooking Greek, and what would be spicy that I would? Oh, Mexican. Yeah, I'm not a Mexican fan, but he is. So in his bag, I will add more spice, and I will put another bag for me that isn't so spicy, but then I'm not worrying about all these different dishes and everything like that. Love that idea. So it really fits to your lifestyle. Some of us, you know, John might be working late or something, and I need to eat, or, you know, I've got a few people over here to eat earlier. I can just pull out whatever I'm cooking, cook for who's here, whether I'm gonna braise it or broil it, bake it, or I was showing you how to grill it too. And then when he comes home, that finishing time is probably 5 to 10 minutes. Kids, you know, you got people on different schedules. Go ahead, you know, one coming home early, you still can have a really healthy meal. I'm not going to go too much into the sides because your sides can be done too at the same time with this. I probably do that later when I do cooking shows because I'll actually break down meal by meal as opposed to just kind of giving you guys a broad idea about sous vide. But I just to throw this out there, one time I looked for a recipe and they had a hollandaise sauce, which was fabulous. It was all cooked and done within, you know, you dump everything in your Ziploc bag, had a beautiful hollandaise sauce, and I think I had asparagus and fillets, and they all seemed to be working right around that same temperature. So there are great sides to do, but especially if you're starting, what I would do is pick one of these main proteins that we're talking about tonight, get used to it, get a little more familiar with it, and then broaden yourself out there. On a whole, I'd say 99% of the time, I just do my protein in here, and I do my sides another way. All right, temperature and timing. Google, honestly, is the best way to go. We all have, and you guys will know what you like. You know, some people like food cooked a little differently. I have figured out what I know. I cook a lot of chicken, so I know exactly what temperature I like my chicken to be. When you Google it, it will give you a range, usually about 3 to 4 different styles, whether it's like moist, chewy, and, you know, I
Flaky,
can't remember, pink, and they'll give you all these ideas. Play around with it. If anything, air, less timing, or less temperature, because you will be finishing this, so you can always cook a little longer your finishing time. So air a little lighter. But once you figure out, like my chicken, I'm all in at 140 and I'm perfect, and I know I just need to do a quick finish for my chicken afterwards. Fillets is probably my other main favorite thing to do in here. So I have my set temperature. We're mostly all medium rare people around here. So I personally am 129 degrees when I do my fillets. And again, don't get too caught up on this exact temperature. You know, oh my God, it's not gonna turn out. There's enough of a range in there that it won't be bad. You won't make a mistake, and don't be stressed out about that. And again, like I said, to me, I would err on the less side of my temperature because I know I can always cook it longer. We had somebody over here for dinner, and I do all my fillets medium rare. And almost all my friends are medium rare. She happened to want it well done. So I still cooked her steak medium rare. And what I did is I sliced it and just grilled it a little longer so that her pieces were more well done the way she liked it. So that's why I'm just saying, as far as your temperature, there's other ways to finish this that we can get it cooked a little bit more for you. The lowest range that they usually give you, that food is cooked safely, the food is cooked done, so it's not that you have to worry about that. It's like with my salmon tonight that I will be presenting to you, I erred on the lesser side of it because I knew I was broiling it, and I knew I could just keep cooking it if I needed to. Again, I'm not, so I think that's all I'm going to talk about with that. One other little thing though, we did cook a bunch of fillets the other night, and I had a few little extras. I just want to throw this out because if you need to reheat food and not keep cooking it, when I can take an old, fillet I had last night, I can put it back into my sous vide and take the temperature that I like, and it will warm it back up to only that temperature. So you're not overcooking your food again. Throw your chicken in here or whatever, but I love to use this for reheating too. And it does not take very long to do that. And I think there's certain foods I don't like to be overcooked, so that's another main reason. As you guys can kind of tell, I use sous vide a lot. I use it for reheating, for cooking, and it's almost all my proteins usually start with a sous vide. Almost, I'd say at least 5 nights out of the week. So that's where I'm at there. Finishing. There's 3, to me, main ways to finish your food when this comes out of the Ziploc bag. You can go outside and grill, which a lot of people like to grill outside. So that's great. I don't know about my Chicago people if you're going out in the winter, but you can go outside and grill. Sorry to turn my back to you. My favorite pan I very well loved is I have a grilled pan that actually is used and loved very much, and is constantly used whether I'm finishing. I like the grill marks on my food, so that's why I tend to use a grilled pan. You could also use a saute pan. You just won't get the grill marks, but that's totally fine too. And then you can actually bake, take it to broil or to bake in the oven. So you have your grill pan, grill outside. The oven, I can broil or I can finish baking in the oven, or you can use your saute pan. So whatever you have, or what kind of texture you like. The main reason why you do have to finish your food with sous vide. The texture of it, and I will show you, is not as crispy or finished on the outside. And I think that's people's biggest complaint when they would talk about sous vide, is the way that it looked. But again, you're always going to finish it. And there's so many different creative ways to do that. Like I said, we do chicken a lot. So I will start in my sous vide, and then sometimes I'll just throw it in the oven and throw cheese on top and some fresh basil or whatever and bake it and just kind of get that crispy, golden cheese on top. It's fabulous. So just, again, take your main protein that you like, start getting what you like to it in the sous vide, and then go in and try different finishes. I think it just will be kind of fun to do that. So that's it. So now I'm just going to show you a couple of the foods and what occurs. So I had cooked a filet earlier, and again, I'm a medium rare girl, but what I want to mainly show you guys, and this is absolutely why I love it for steak. When you open this up, you will see, how are we doing? From top to bottom, that steak is perfectly medium rare temperature. So you're not worried about just the inside being done or the outside being done too much, or if you like it, again, I said there's different temperatures for fillets, so if you like it well done, you will see that it will be well done from center to outside in the exact same plane. So my medium rare comes all the way down up to the top. I just lost my thought. Oh, it does not matter how thick your piece is either. So if it's half the size, again, you can't overcook it in here. It will stay medium rare, whether it's this thick or that thick. So that kind of takes a little stress out, because sometimes I know the pieces might be a little too thick and people tend to overcook the outside of it, and then the inside's not quite as done. So again, the sous vide to me is a really safe way that I know this is gonna turn out perfectly. I don't know if any of you shop at Costco, but I know they got those pork chops that are like this thick, and I've tried so many different ways to cook them. I sous vide them, and they're beautiful top to bottom without worrying about the thickness or thinness. Sometimes you can overcook food really fast if it's too thin, that you're stressing out over that. So I wanted to show you what this looks like kind of before. You can kind of see the texture of the outside. But again, my meat temperature inside right now is a perfect medium rare temperature. So I'm going to show you it done. Thank you, darling. So I got my little, all right. So what I did with this one, let's see how we can, everybody seeing? I grilled it. I grilled it right on my grill inside the house. I literally, about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, just enough to get your grill marks on there. And you're done. So you have guests over for dinner, or you want to go eat, your prep time now is only those few, I'm going to say, I'll give yourself 10 minutes. 10 minutes to finish prepping your food to get it right out on the table. What I also found, like with the fillets, okay, I totally spaced on that. With the, all right, we'll keep moving. So that's what I did with the fillets. Sorry guys, I spaced out for a moment. So if anybody has any questions about fillets, let me know.
Chad, any questions coming through?
Well, anybody want to give a moment who has any questions? Because there is a little delay on this, so.
Oh, okay. I'm
Let's see.
actually gonna, Chad can holler out if there is, but I'm
Yeah.
actually gonna show you how I actually prep it into the Ziploc bag and how easy, and give you a couple suggestions. So I'm just starting off with chicken breast. I personally like to cut my breast in half. I just like the way when people can eat in or bite into it, that you're gonna get whatever you're seasoning, everything's just right crusty on top. So I just a habit I do, where I always cut everything in my breast in half.
We have a question.
Oh, we have a question.
Susie Thompson says, looks delicious. Speaking of pork chops, do you know if you can put Worcester sauce and soup in a baggie with pork chop?
I'll have to look that up, Susie. You mean at the same one pot, same sous vide? You want to know if you can put soup in there, or flavor your
I think flavor the pork chop with the soup or
flavor
the
it
Worcester
with.
sauce.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what I'm going to go into next. What you can dump in there, because there really isn't a right or wrong. I don't get too caught up on recipes per se. I get caught up on what I enjoy, what I like, what is, and I usually go cuisine. So if I'm in a Greek mood, I'm gonna probably maybe have if I'm having chicken, I'm gonna probably have olives in there, or like an olive tapenade, or something that's more in that Greek-centric area, or Italian. It's gonna be more my basils and my lemons and things like that. So always think cuisine first, what you want your protein to taste like, and then go to your pantry. I throw fresh tomatoes right into my bag, into the chicken, and then they get tomatoes get beautiful in this. And I dump it all in the same bag. So when I take my protein, I'm gonna just give you a couple of things that I always keep in my pantry, or most people have around, because you don't have to get real fancy here. The food gets so much more flavorful in the sous vide, because it actually gets all the way through your food. So you're not just flavoring the outside of your food, you're actually flavoring the whole inside of this breast will taste like this. Lemon pepper, I honestly love this lemon pepper. So what I did for the chicken today was I just sprinkled quite a bit of lemon pepper all over my chicken. So I'm actually gonna do it for you today. And again, don't get caught up on recipes, don't get caught up on amounts. If you like something, dump it in there. I mean, we love olives, and I will throw olives in my bags all the time. So I think hopefully you guys can see. I'm literally, and I'm not even gonna worry, it's not like you even have to coat it because the flavors will get through, but literally I just dumped lemon pepper in there. I will pick it up, dump it into my bag, and because I'm in the mood, I would take, we just have fresh lemons right now. Literally, I dump the whole entire lemon in here, like that. Basil, I just like lemon and basil, it's just probably one of my more favorite things to do. I just dump the whole thing in. The aromatics will get through all this food. You skip the whole step of marinating. So we used to kind of go back in the old days of marinating everything for hours and hours and hours. This does it while you're sous videing. So your flavors are gonna come through great. So the reason why people like food bag systems or those other bags is because you need to get out as much air out of this bag as much as you can. So what I do is I start closing it up about halfway. So I still have part of my Ziploc bag open for air. Now I cook a lot more than just these two little breasts, but if that happens to be what's in there, I start rolling my bag. You guys can see that. And then when I get right to the end,
Yeah, they can see it.
I just start squeezing out as much air. Now remember, you just only let that one little part out, and then I finish sealing it. I've gotten out almost all the air out of this bag, and I know it's hard to see, but that's your biggest trick. Get as much air out of whatever you're done. So if I'm filled to up here with food, just roll it all out and just clip off the very end. What you're then gonna do is take your bag, put it into your pot, whatever you have, take any clip you have, and my sous vide. And again, don't forget, there will be 2 water lines on your sous vide. So it can't go past this amount, so I'll clip this on, and I will know I can fill up my water right to that point. And basically the sous vides have just about 3 controls on them. They'll have their temperature, they'll have the time. And again, there's a big general window for time. So again, I just usually I don't have to Google what I know now, but if I'm trying something new like the salmon or things like that, or there's something, a new protein that I'm trying, I will kind of just Google it, but I know it takes me about an hour and a half. Again, it doesn't matter whether I'm just cooking this one little breast or if I'm cooking 10 breasts in here. My time will still stay an hour and a half. I know I like 140 for chicken, so you'll set your temperature at 140, and it's really easy. I mean, most of them have just like this little toggle switch on that you're just hitting. I never timed anything in my life. I just kind of generally know, like I look, it's 4 o'clock, so I know 5:30 is dinner, so I kind of just back myself a little. And I'm just still going back because I'm telling you what stress, or does not stress me out, is if we don't eat dinner till 6, this still keeps going, and I'm not going to overcook that. Or somebody, dinner guests arrive late, or you start having a few cocktails, or we're eating a little too much cheese board. So I'm delayed a half hour or an hour. I'm not stressing about dinner. And what's also nice is this is your dinner besides your side, but it's all in one pot. And so once I know my time has come, an hour and a half, I'm gonna pull the bag out and literally, I've already decided if I'm gonna grill or if I'm gonna bake this. You're just gonna pull out your chicken or your protein that you're doing and then go to grill it. I'm gonna share one thing about grilling in the kitchen. I know some chefs and things, everybody talks about putting oil on their grill pans. I never have and won't. If you want a little oil on your pan, I find you don't need it because you've already been kind of marinating this protein and it's usually pretty moist. And then the quicker I can cook it. So the quicker you can sear it, get your grill marks on, because you've already cooked it. You're just trying to get that texture on the top, the sooner I'm done with it. So I'm not worrying about grilling it back on my grill pan to cook it. I'm there to just give me a pretty finish at the end of my chicken breast or fillet. So I know I'm going to say this again, but you've already cooked your food. Your finishing is just to make that outside the texture that you like. So you don't have to worry about that. Or if I go into the oven, I'm just maybe trying to melt cheese on top, you know, kind of finishing. So it's not to cook it, it's just to finish it. So, and the other good thing too, especially if I'm entertaining or just, I don't feel like cleaning, once you've taken out this chicken or whatever your protein is in here, whatever's in here, I seal it up and it goes in the garbage. I don't have pans to clean up other than whatever I'm finishing with, but I'm done. You know, there's no all this marinades and this, you know, kind of things coming out of here. So, one thing why I like it. So, I'm going to show you my finish on my chicken. So again, I grilled this, and staples around here is basil and lemon, so almost all I just tend to put lemons and basil in just about everything, but I have also my chicken, thrown tomatoes, and then when I pulled out my tomatoes, they're like a really nice, not a stewed tomato, but it's a really great texture of a tomato, because I love tomatoes, and then I might sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on top of that, and that becomes part of my dish. So I threw this on pasta. I usually will have pasta, rice, quinoa, salad. You can take this and slice it up and throw it on a salad. It's absolutely fabulous. You can use this cold, and I'm just going to share one other thing, which I'll be having eventually on my website, but I will cook, when I do my Greek dishes, and I serve, especially for parties, or we just like cold chicken during my Greek foods, I will still go through and cook it in my sous vide. I still will grill it, sorry, and then I throw it in the refrigerator. Because what I like to do for my Greek food is I like to slice this and put it on like a hummus or my orzo salad or something like that. So even though I could still go through the same process and grill it and it's warm, you still can take a lot of these elements and go cold with them. So this I just happen to have pasta for. I'm going to show you just a couple, I don't know how much Costco people are on there, but artichoke hearts. These are at Costco. I'm telling you, we live by these things, and it's already kind of artichokes in like an olive, kind of an oil-based olive flavoring. I dumped this entire jar into my sous vide Ziploc bag with chicken, and it's killer good. Just killer good. I don't know what more to say. So I want you to know too that there are some, like World Market's fabulous. TJ Maxx is fabulous. This is what I ended up doing my salmon in. This is a asparagus pesto, and I got this at World Market, and I literally had my salmon didn't brush, I put the whole jar, I had 4 pieces of salmon in there, put the whole jar on top, put it in my sous vide bag, cooked it 120 for my salmon, which I'll show you in a second, and it will flavor all that salmon through. So do what you like. Find fun things at TJ Maxx or World Market or you know, wherever you shop. I mean, and even like your salad dressings. You can even throw Thousand Island dressing if you happen to like that flavor or things like that. So again, I don't get too crazy with my recipes. I know we love artichokes around here, and olives and basil and lemon, so that's pretty much what you're gonna kind of get in one of the bags, or tomatoes, or depending what's in season. So just keep your mind open, not to enjoy what you like. So I just wanted to show you a couple of my favorite things in here. I also, well, I'm gonna show you the salmon. So there's my salmon done. So as you can see, what I did with the salmon is I pulled it out of my sous vide bag and then I broiled it. I just got a nice crust right up on the top. And then I had some tomatoes and rice, and that was all there for the salmon. Another great finishing, which I did not show, but I love to use, whenever you come out, I just want to share probably one of my favorite things to do that it just adds a different flavor to all the food you cook, whether you're sous vide or not sous vide, is I love balsamics. I know my sister will agree to that. Oh, thank you, Dolly. We have a tomato here that I had cooked. And all I did was I cut my tomato in half, threw some burrata cheese in there, some breadcrumbs, and baked it. That was it. But the difference flavors make when you use something good balsamic is to drizzle a little bit of that on with some fresh basil. And I think this is probably eaten 3 to 4 times. It can be done cold, it can be done hot. This is probably eaten at least 3 to 4 times a week in our house. Some form of this, because it's just what we like.
We have 2 questions.
We have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Hey.
One is from Jill Strain.
Hey, Jill.
And she wants to clarify that if it's, how is it battery operated or do you plug it in?
You have to plug it in.
Okay.
It is an electric outlet.
Okay, that's what she assumed, but we wanted to
Yeah.
clarify. And then Denise had a question saying, she wants to eat salmon, my daughter likes chicken, and my son always wants steak.
Yep.
It can be all done in the same pot? Question?
I will give you a general answer on that. Yes and no. Your fillets, for me, I like it medium rare, so if you're liking it medium rare, you're gonna only want your fillets up to about 130 degrees. Your salmon is at 120, but your salmon can range from 120 to 150. So yes, I would say I would put my fillet and salmon together. And what was the other one?
Chicken.
Chicken is at 140. So what I would probably do, I would suggest, because again, it's probably more determinant on your fillet. If you're goofy like I am, that I really like my medium rare. But if you tend to like to go more into the medium side, you could probably do everything at 135. Chicken for me can range from about 135 to 160, I think they do. I like mine at about 140. The only thing I would tell you to do then with your chicken, because you haven't quite brought it up totally to your temperature, so if we're at 135, I would just cook my chicken a little longer. The other suggestion I can probably throw out to you is what your Ziploc bag is. I would probably make my chicken breast, I wouldn't do a whole breast in there because it'll take a little longer for you to finish your chicken. I'd maybe do like fillets of it or slice it into like longer pieces, or like what I always do, I always cut my breast in half. Something about that size. Then you just know you need to cook your chicken just a tad longer on a grill, or I would throw it on in my oven before I was finished. What I would probably do is I would take my chicken breasts, pull those out first, put them into a pan that I know is going in the oven to finish, get that going. So you probably would only need, I'm gonna say about 15 minutes on your chicken, if that. But while that's baking, I would then finish my salmon, you know, however you want to finish your salmon, if you're just going to broil that, or if you're going to do the fillet, I'd probably get that grilling. So yes, you could do it all and figure it out. And that's what's great with the sous vide. So you're really close to your temperatures of the items that you're talking about. So you'd be good.
Cool.
Great.
Good.
And then I just want to share one other thing. I think to always finish everything with lemon zest always adds a perk to any meal. And these are just my little tips that I love to cook for anything, is a balsamic, lemon zest always is fabulous. And fresh herbs. I mean, I always keep, they're pretty all the time in my kitchen. So I always have like basil and parsley. But to always just finish up with a little fresh herb, rosemary is fabulous. Just adds any meal, and it just kind of bumps it up a piece. So it's just my little 2 cents today, but I'm gonna give it. Oh, I'm pretty good on time. Okay, we're done. we are now going to announce the winner.
Okay.
So, Chad has logged in. When people logged in?
Going down just to make sure I get her
He's
name
checking that because he doesn't even know my number yet.
right. Okay.
So just to let everybody know, I think next time I may try to Zoom meeting so I can hear you guys' questions, or we could talk a little more like you're in my kitchen. But we're gonna try to keep up the feed because I didn't see all your comments. I can't see that far. And I'm gonna try to answer any questions, but call me, text me, whatever you need to do. If you have questions like Denise had about the 3 things, I'd be happy to help. I mean, I've been using this thing for 7 years now, and there's so many little versatile things that I've been doing. And if you guys like the show, I'm going to start trying to do a few more of them, or tape them, or video them, that we can see more specifically from beginning of meal all the way to end, as opposed to kind of doing a general conversation on sous vide. So thank you guys. Does Chad got it?
Yeah.
What's the...
You ready? The lucky number is 11.
I believe it's Leanne Jones.
Leanne
Oh,
Jones.
Leanne! There you go, my lucky 11 girl. So Leanne, I will be sending that out to you. I'll probably need your address. So congratulations. And thank you, all of you. I'm anxious to go look now who all was on. And have a good day, Sunday, rest of it, everyone. Love you. Bye.